I know you moved on to someone new. Whole life is beautiful. You were the light for me to find my truth. I just wanna say thank you.
Leaving to find my soul. Told her I had to go. And I know it ain't pretty when our hearts get broke. Too young to feel this old. Watching us both turn cold. Oh, I know it ain't pretty when two hearts get broke. Yeah, I know it ain't pretty when two hearts get broke.
I hope someday we'll sit down together and laugh with each other about these days, these days. All our troubles we'll lay to rest and we wish we could come back to these days, these days. These days, these days. These days, these days.
3 years of ups and downs, nothing to show for it now. And I know it ain't pretty when the fire burns out. Calling me when I'm drunk, remind me of what I've done. And I know it ain't pretty when you're trying to move on.
Oh, yeah. I hope someday we'll sit down together and laugh with each other about these days, these days. All our troubles we'll lay to rest and we wish we could come back to these days, these days. Oh, I know, I know. Oh, I know, I know. Oh, I know, I know. These days, these days. Oh, I know, I know. Oh, I know, I know. Oh, I know, I know. These days, these days.
Cigarettes in the ashtray, reminiscing on those past days. I thought you didn't know my last name, but that changed. And I traveled around the world, think where you living at now. I heard you moved to Austin, got an apartment and settled down. And every once in a while, I start texting, write a paragraph, but then I delete the message. Think about you like a pastime. I could cry you a river, get you baptized. Or I wasn't ready to act right. Used to always think I'd get you back right. They say that things fall apart. We were gonna move to Brooklyn, you were gonna study art. But love is just a tool to remind us who we are, and that we are not alone when we're walking in the dark.
I hope someday we'll sit down together and laugh with each other about these days, these days. All our troubles we'll lay to rest. We wish we could come back to these days, these days.
We wish we could go back to these days, these days.
These days.
Going back, it was around mid-April 2020 when the whole junior high and senior high were gathered in the chapel. Usually, junior high and senior high never hold assemblies together, and so we knew it was going to be about something big and something special. Lo and behold, HBL. The room was filled with joy and laughter. People were jumping out their seats, and so from that day on, alright, it's good now, right? Alright. Back to intro. Recalling back, it was around mid-April 2020 when the whole junior high and senior high were gathered in the chapel. Usually, junior high and senior high never hold assemblies together, and so we knew it was going to be about something big and something special. Lo and behold, HBL. The room was filled with joy and laughter. People were jumping out their seats. And so from that day on, we did HBL. The first week passed by. The second week passed by. The third week passed by. The fourth month passed by. It was still great. But then the 7th month passed. Wait, surely this will end by the year, right? Who would have thought that this will continue until 2021 and until now? This had affected the student council greatly. We moved from offline to online. Meetings were now online. Games and events were now online too. So the student council had also planned for various events for the second semester of class 2020 to 2021 that were offline, that were in school, thinking that all of this will end soon. Yet again, it didn't end. And so we continued to create online events and games, which may give the idea that the student council experience won't be that great. But actually, this online student council has been such a great experience. And we would like to discuss more about it on this talk show today. And I'm your host. Welcome to 3 During Quarantine Talk Show. I'm your host, Morgan and Maxwell. I am the president of the Student Council. And I'm joined by my co-host, Maxwell. You may introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Maxwell and I'm the Vice President of OSIS.
And today we are joined by 3 special guests, basically the engine and the core team of the Student Council. Please welcome Ferry, Shelliva, and Shana.
Hello, my name is Ferry. I'm from class of 92 and I'm the treasurer of OSIS.
Hi, I'm Shelliva 94 and I played the role of treasurer in OSIS.
Hi, my name is Shana. I'm from 94 and I'm in charge of the social media team of OSIS.
All right. To begin with, can you recall why you wanted to be a member of OSIS in the very beginning?
Well, for me, I definitely adored the president, vice president, and the whole member of the OSIS team. The teamwork and communication that was seen was just so mesmerizing. It made me want to be involved. Additionally, it also increases your relations and friendships along the way. You might make lifelong friendships along the way that you never know. It also prepares you for the future as a paved road to being better and always being prepared for every complication. The thoughts of OSIS always came running through my head ever since they announced that they will be opening the student council member interviews. And I think that the excitement and the communication between the OSIS members at that time really made me want to join OSIS.
All right, great. How about you, Shelliva?
Well, I wanted to be a member of OSIS so that I could contribute to the school and apply the knowledge and understanding that the school has taught me. I feel like it is important to give back to the school and helping other students out so they could have like a fun year filled with exciting and new experiences. While helping others out, I wanted to get new experiences in teamwork, problem solving, and other life lessons as well.
Shana?
The main reason I wanted to join OSIS first was to learn how to work in a community, learn how to communicate with other people in a working environment maybe, because it exposes you, right? You learn how to be friends with people that are older from you, and you can also learn from their experiences. Aside from that, I wanted to use the talents and the gifts that God has given me to help the school become a better place for both students and teachers.
Yeah, that's very right. How about you, Maxwell? As vice president, do you ever aim to become vice president in the very beginning? What made you join?
To be honest, I'd never planned on being Vice President. I joined because I wanted to learn teamwork and social skills in an organization.
I think that same goes for me. I planned to go to student council because I wanted to learn more about the teamwork, about working in a community, and being exposed to basically the working environment and things like that. Well, in the very start, I didn't really plan to become president, but like it just soon came with the flow, and I set the goal to become president. That's one thing. And so for the next question, what is one event you wanted to have but couldn't because of the pandemic? Like before this, like last year, we also discussed a few events we wanted to make, but like never mind, gak jadi, cannot. What is one thing that you really wanted to do but cannot?
Well, since the beginning of junior high, I was really planning to do an international food and cultures day. It's like an event where each class or batch can represent different countries around the world, where they can present about their traditional foods, dances, language, and so much more. This way, ICS students can learn about diversity and how beautiful this word actually is. Even though we might not be able to run this event, it's definitely an event I would think about in the future.
All right, that's actually a very great event. You can pass that down to the next generation. Thanks for the idea. How about Shelliva?
Well, I was very looking forward to the school cup, but it got cancelled. So like, it was probably one of the event that I wanted the most. It would have been such a great experience where we OSIS members get to work hard and do our best to not only make the students of our school happy, but from other schools as well. I feel like it would be such a memorable experience that takes a lot of time and effort, but will end with satisfaction and happiness.
Or Shana?
An event that I probably wanted to do most was LDECA, because when we had our LDECA and we were in year 7 tested by the year 9s that were older than us, I think they had most of the fun because we were tired, we were scared.
Yeah,
But
sure.
then they had so much fun planning the events, waking us up at 3 a.m., knocking the door. I wanted to do that.
Same. Yeah, I also agree. We wanted to do LDK. We were planning to do LDK offline, but still, it's even though it's going down, it's still couldn't be done. How about you, Max? Do you have any ideas in plan events that you want to do beforehand?
The event that I wanted to do offline was Valentine. And the plan was to hide tiny hearts around the school and make people search for them. And at the end, they could exchange it for certain gifts, um, like chocolate or other things.
Yeah, I think we also did plan that. Like treasure hunting around the school, which is also done in LDK, something similar to that in 2 a.m. like last 2 years with the year 9s. So I think treasure hunting is like one of those very games, very interesting, good games that we can do offline, but not sure during online. As for me, probably one thing that I would like to do, nothing special, probably a talent show. Like we never, it's a very common event that basically all schools do, but apparently ICS don't do it often. So like I thought a talent show could give a good start to it, but then cannot. Even though we could possibly do it online, it would be as much fun as we will do it offline, right? That's one thing. So how about the next? What is one event that? No, just kidding. That's just a question before. Right. The student council experience had its highs and its lows. What do you guys think are the highs of this council, the student council? What are the best moments? Could
Well,
be this year or last year.
I feel like, in my opinion, every moment is a high. Like every moment, there's no normal moment in OSIS. Each minute is always spent discussing and preparing for a future event, and that's always has been the adrenaline for me in OSIS. And being able to communicate well with your team and not have any complications, especially with the event that you're creating, like for example, you're the PIC of the event, and not having any complication at all, is definitely a high to me.
All right. Yeah, that's great. How about Shalifa?
Well, I think that the pros of joining student council was probably the experience and teamwork that you will have. From joining the student council, I got a lot of experience in thinking of new events, making fun activities like Kahoots, and getting to do my best in such a short time. Then I also get to make new friends and work with those that I've never been close to before, which really I think will help me in the future in communicating with others and working with them.
Yeah. How about Shana?
For me, the highs and the lows of OSIS were first the highs, yeah. Probably during events when we had to go around the school running around. It was really fun, feeling like you had to do something, as well as like staying until late at school. Example, last 2 years or last year Valentine's, we had to stay until like 6 or 7 packing the the candies because the strawberries rot. That was really fun. Because of that, you make a lot of connections with the people that were also there. So other than that, what can you do, right? You can just talk with each other. The lows, there weren't much lows, but then probably one of the worst things that happened were maybe when we were misbehaving, then Miss Lisa had to come in the room and shout at all of us.
Oh yeah, of course.
But aside from that, that really disciplined us, and it was something that we can remember always, right? Oh, OSIS was like this.
Yeah, that's right. How about I mentioned the lows as there were you guys already mentioned the highs and the best moments of us. I think one of the lows, especially for this year, is the last minute decisions. But yet again, in those last minute moments when we had to decide to do this or to cancel it in some moments, became the best learning experience for us. As when you're in that tight spot, last minute, you make the wrong decisions, you're done for. That's when your mind keeps on thinking, like you think of the possible outcomes that could happen if you make this decision, decision A or decision B, and that's when you actually start to learn more about things, about how to make the right decisions, and also learn about how your decisions can actually affect so many others. So I think even though from those low moments in OSIS, you can actually learn so much from it. How about you, Max? Do you have anything to share?
I just want to say that I'm very proud of our current OSIS for being able to adapt to uh, online learning, because most of the plans we had were offline, as you said. And I'm grateful for the teamwork that was shown by our OSIS. Even though we had many last minute decisions, it still turned out well.
Yeah, especially for it's always on the poster team. See, honestly, whenever there's last minute decisions, it's always on the poster team. Like, apparently it's already the next week because our posters are always published on like Mondays for the devotion for PCG, PCT, and we make them always like in Sunday or in Saturdays. It's very last minute, but we still get the job done, and from those we learn a lot. So time management is also another thing we also learn. And also, what is one thing that you guys have learned from the student council?
I think that I have learned that not everything can be about you, like only you. No matter how high your position is, you're the same as everybody else. No matter if you're grade 9 or grade 7, you're still the same. Your opinion isn't higher than anyone else's. I believe that the more friendly and the more communicative you are, the better you will be. OSIS has taught me that nothing is ever easy, nothing has a shortcut, and there's definitely no elevator in life. And everything has its own process, and everything should be gone through step by step.
Yeah, I really agree with that. That year nine's opinion is not greater than a year eight's opinion. I think everyone's opinion should be shared equally and be faced equally also. How do you, Shelliva?
Well, from OSIS, I learned to be hardworking and manage my time. Sometimes we get like last minute decisions that we need to do like in one night or something like that. And it really pressures me, but then it's like the excitement of being an OSIS member and to like work in such a short period of time and be creative in those times. And I learned to be cooperative when working together, which really gives me a good experience for the future. And I learned that nothing goes perfectly, and so we all do mistakes, and that is fine. And with those mistakes, sometimes it is it creates like new things that we might have not experienced if we do everything perfectly.
Yeah, but last minute calls. Like we just had the class meet event like exactly yesterday, and exactly 2 days ago, uh, there was so many last minute decisions. We realized that the supervisors weren't enough for certain games because we haven't really looked at it, and also something like some Kahoots or some events weren't actually completely done. Some rubrics weren't done. But then in those tight times, we were able to work really hard and learn lots of things from those things. How do you, Shana?
So the thing that I definitely learned most from OSIS was how to work together. That's the main thing. Because I see that you have an idea, yeah. Even if your idea is so good, but then you want to do it all by yourself, it's never gonna go. It's never gonna work. You guys have to share it with others, and then you also have to learn how to like explain what's in your head so that other people can understand what your vision is. So that's definitely one of the biggest things that I learned in OSIS was how to work together, how to work in a community. And I think that will definitely benefit all of us when we start working or in high school or anywhere.
Yeah, because OSIS is definitely not a one-man team. Not one person can do anything in OSIS. You gotta work together. In OSIS or in any other community, you always have to work together to be able to achieve the best. How about you, Maxwell?
One thing I learned during this year of being vice president was, well, responsibility. Because if anything was to go wrong, the president and the vice president has to make up for it. We have to take responsibility for those mistakes and for our actions.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. And for me, I think one of the biggest thing that I've learned is probably time management, because of all of the last minute calls we had. Those last minute calls are also caused by not being able to manage our time properly. But then yet again, I sometimes think like, wait, we can just finish this docs or this rubric or this poster in one day, right? Why do we have to like work on it like 3 days before? Sometimes that can be true, but then sometimes that also can be false. So that's one thing. Like like yesterday also, actually Shelliva, right? You shared, because we were lacking supervisors and Kahoot for guess the movie game. And so you literally joined 3G Meet for year 9, year 8, and year 7 and started Kahoot. So those are like some of those last minute calls that really requires those kind of work. So I think that's one of the things that's very interesting. And then for one interesting question, if you could change one thing about OSIS, what will it be?
In my opinion, it would definitely be the communication between the OSIS members. Every meeting, I would like each member of the student council to have more chances in being able to be involved and in being able to speak out their thoughts and being able to share what they think is right. Especially within this pandemic with the Google Meet and everything, there are definitely a lot of students who are shy but filled with all these amazing and ideas that are being caved inside.
Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry. So that I can definitely increase the OSIS chance of being able to be better.
Right, yeah. How about you, Shelliva?
For me, I would change probably like I agree with Fairy. Probably I would encourage the other OSIS members to participate more in our meetings, and I would like them to give their ideas. Like they, I wish they can express their thoughts freely and not be shy. And sometimes that like for example, you need to volunteer yourself to, for example, supervise in a game. Sometimes not all of us wants to do that, and that would like cause another problem like a lack of supervisors, which really impacts us badly.
Yeah, that's right. How about Shana?
One thing I would change about OSIS, the president.
Wait,
Just kidding.
maksudnya?
No, just um, probably more discipline. Yeah, because especially during online, many students they're lazy to come to the meetings. They say, "Oh, I have lesson." Gini or so many excuses, and then especially when we were in physical school, we were forced to go to the meeting even if we have lesson. Miss Liza told us, "Oh, just be late for it. Us is more important." You said you would dedicate your time for OSIS, and we all knew that because even during the interviews, they would ask us what date you have lessons. Maybe if it was the date that we had the meeting, they wouldn't accept us even. So probably more discipline um, as well. So if more people will join the meetings, maybe we could get more ideas, better opinions, rather than just like a small group talking. It's not OSIS.
Right, that's right. Probably also referring to one of those excuses. There's one OSIS member that I'm not gonna mention. Use the excuse of dental appointment, like 4 weeks in a row. every single Wednesday. Oh, sorry, I have dental appointment. Appreciate you for the use that excuse last week. But that's one thing. But yeah, discipline. I think that's very important. As when you're missing one OSIS student, you're missing out one very good idea that they may have in mind, but they were just not able to share it yet to the team. How about you, Max?
One thing that I would change would be the last minute decisions. We had a lot of those, and it impacted us negatively.
Right. As for me, I think it's more to the view of what OSIS is. As if you are to say to a elementary student, "Hey, join OSIS." What is OSIS? OSIS is a tense community. Everyone is so strict. They go to school with a tie, proper attire, their clothes ironed and everything. They're very formal, and it's going to be have a tense situation. I think that view of OSIS should be changed itself, because when you're in a community, when you're in OSIS, and the situation is tense, the lower grades, like for example, the year 7 and year 8, won't be able to communicate well their ideas, referring also to Fairy's idea of communication. That's why I think one thing that has to be changed about OSIS, and that has to be continued, I think, at least for me, is to not make the environment around OSIS tense, or where people want to be able to share their ideas freely, where people think if when they share a bad idea, it's going to be they're going to be ridiculed. As there's a saying, no idea is very bad. A bad idea is okay, and a good idea is excellent. So it's better to have an idea, or even though it's a bad idea, daripada no idea, and daripada not sharing at all. So I think the tense environment should be changed in OSIS, and hopefully I did that in student council. Hopefully I made it a bit less tense compared to the last few years and things like that. But that's one thing. And then for our last question, actually, what is one thing that you would like to share to the next OSIS generation, that you would like to tell them, hey, don't do this, or actually, hey, do this, so that OSIS will be better?
Well, for the future OSIS, like grade 8s, grade 7s, grade future OSIS, for example, always remember, don't take the elevator, take the stairs. Taking the elevator just ruins your chances in being able to see so much more and being able to learn so many things throughout the way. Don't take the shortcut just because it's easier and way faster. Always find new ways and ideas to, for example, make your stairs better. Pave your way better. It'll prepare you so much more for the future. Don't say, oh, it's still so far away, it's still a week away, still a month away. It's always faster than it actually you think it is. Always prepare for anything. There's always nothing wrong with planning too early.
Yeah, the broken roads always leads to the best views. That's one. How about you, Shelliva?
Well, for the next OSIS generations, I wish them the best of luck, and I hope that they will have a great experience like I do. Sometimes it might be hard and you might have been pressured, but just know that as long as you do your best and work hard, everything will be fine. Never regret your decision in joining OSIS because, well, everything has its highs and lows, and with it, you can learn new experiences and earn more knowledge.
Shana?
One thing I would say to the new OSIS is definitely look up, even despite like the position role that's like we're all equal, please still like look up to people that were older than you. Because in my experience being in year 7, looking at the year 9s that were like Keisha, Darren, they were like, so wow, I learned so much from them. I learned so much from their experiences. Even when they would scold us, I was like, oh, that she's right. So we definitely learned a lot on how to manage OSIS from them, right? Even now we're in year 9, we know how to talk to the year 7s and the year 8 properly is all from them. So you can learn so much from being in OSIS, especially from people older than you. Pay attention. Don't just think, oh, she's mad at me, I don't like her. No. Just
Okay.
pay attention.
How about you, Max?
For the next generation leaders of OSIS, I would like to read you a quote from John C. Maxwell. Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. And for the rest of the OSIS members, please remember to work hard and never give up.
Pretty sure that's your WhatsApp bio, yeah. Is that your WhatsApp bio? I remember like clicking on your WhatsApp, like it sounds quote unquote leaders by someone. That's one thing. As for me, I think one thing that is very important for the next OSIS generation is not be afraid. Yeah, do not be afraid to do new things. Yeah. Because even though it's a new thing, you're scared if it's actually going to work. Like you're planning off an event that OSIS actually never done before. Like for example, this talk show. Like why would an OSIS back then would think of a talk show? Who would have think of that, right? So I think one thing that you should really pay attention to is do not be afraid to start, because when you're starting something new, one thing that you should keep in mind that you're actually going to be excited to do it. It's something new. No one has done it before. So like might as well just continue on with it, right? It's something new that OSIS may do that will the next generation may also continue what that event, So you're literally leaving a footprint to the OSIS events and games. And do you guys have any other stories as for your positions or any memorable moments in student council?
There was a time, and on Independence Day, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, where Miss Lisa got really mad at me for not telling her information that she needed. Oh, for being an OSIS, you need to supervise every single event. You always need to be there, and I had to be there. I had to be in the field supervising the sports game and everything. And I have a little bit of moment where I forgot to tell Miss Lisa that I'm also involved in the fashion show of that event. And I have to be in two different places at the same time. And I remember when I told Miss Lisa, Miss, I need to go to the practice now. I need to go to the modeling place where I need to change my clothes and get my hair done, get my face done. She was like, you didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me this piece of information that I knew was very important since everyone is to be in the field. And I was like, I'm sorry, miss. I must have forgotten to tell you. And she made me stand under the sun for 15 minutes on the field. And I think that was something very memorable for me at Gnosis. And everything has a consequence. And Miss Lisa has taught me so much. And she has given me that everything you do always has the thing that comes after it. Like you won't ever get you won't ever be free from a problem. You won't ever be free from a mistake. And I think that's what something that OSIS really taught me so far. And yeah, it has been really memorable. And always think on what you're about to do. Don't look down at anything that you're being asked to do, since everything you do is important in OSIS. And I think that's the most memorable memory for me.
Yeah. Your decisions, big or small, your actions, big or small, will definitely could affect someone else all the time, always. How about you, Shelliva? What's one memorable moment?
So I don't really have that much of like a big memorable moment since I just joined OSIS in year 8, which was like probably the start of pandemic. But every single moment in OSIS was like memorable since like I get to know new people and communicate more. And probably like yesterday I need to operate 3 Kahoots at once. It was like kinda like memorable since like um the screens are limited and I need to press each Kahoot like next, play. It was like kind of stressful, but it was worth it.
How about you, Shana?
For me, the most memorable thing that happened in OSIS was probably the LDECA, especially the midnight scavenger hunt. I remember having to go to the basement with my team that time. We were separated into groups. It was scary. They took the older people, the older like teammates, and then brought them out of the basement, leaving me there with Toby. And at night, it was really scary. Even Miss Inja was like alone in the middle of the field singing.
Oh, yeah.
It's creepy. It doesn't seem real. Tapi, thinking about it, why they did that, definitely putting us in hard situations like that made us closer as a team, made us want to work together, made us want to communicate, and that definitely like broke the tension between the older OSIS and the younger OSIS. We were able to talk like we were just friends, but still learn a lot from them as well. That's LDECA. I wish we could have done that.
Yeah, that's right. How about you, Max?
Every moment in OSIS was memorable, but one of the most memorable was that time on Valentine's when we had to stay late and create the snacks. Yeah, we had a test tomorrow at that day, but we stayed late, and instead of studying, we created the snacks and worked hard.
I think one of the most memorable moments when we were just working hard and late. Like Valentine's we worked until like 6 p.m. right, like somewhere along those times, and then we were forced to go home. And I think those were one of the most memorable moments. But besides that, and besides LDK was surely one heck of a memorable moment. I think one other memorable moment is let's see, it's when SOD. I think that was the year 7 year 8 SOD. So I was playing for the chapel band, right, for SOD. And then I thought after chapel band, that's it. I just need to go home. I just need to go back to doing my own things and everything. But then suddenly I got called out by Msiza and some other year eights, yeah. And they told me, hey, help us on this supervising this game. We are apparently lacking on these students, these supervisors for the games, and like it's quite a shock because the game took so long. There was like 3 hours of there was icebreakers, there were other games, and I basically came in blind, right? I never had any thought of those games yet, and so I had to really learn about what those games were in like those short 5 minutes before the game actually start. I think that's one memorable moment. But unlike you guys were apa bashed out, quote unquote bashed out by Miss Lisa or the other year nines. I'm a lucky kid. I never really got bashed out by Miss Lisa, you know. But at least one of the closest moments to being bashed out was, I think it was Independence Day. I think, yeah, Independence Day when we were year 7 or year 8. I was supposed to photograph them playing, and basically my camera battery ran out before we had like 10 minutes of game. So I need to capture all 5 minutes of game, and then my camera battery ran out, and we skipped like three. I don't know, maksudnya I skipped photographing like 3 other games, like eating krupuk and other games and things like that. But I wasn't bashed out. I was just like, I think it was a calm situation. But I remember after that, Miss Iza can gather everyone, and then like Aninka was like running very late, and then like there's 1 or 2 people that was being bashed out. But I was lucky. I was really bashed out that much. So anything else you guys want to share before we end this talk show? No, last messages. Last messages to current OSIS.
It was nice working with all of you guys, learning like each of your personalities and how you work in a group community. Please keep on doing that. Keep on following your passion and learn. Hopefully, you'll make a better OSIS than us. Learn from all our mistakes. Learn not to make last-minute decisions. And hopefully, you can go back to physical school and have OSIS there. It's better.
That's right. Ferry, do you have anything else?
Well, for the OSIS members I have worked with for the past 3 years, you guys have been amazing. And I'm so sorry if I did any mistakes, and I promise that I will try not to do it ever again. Thank you, Miss Lisa, Mr. Evan, all the teachers that have accompanied us throughout this journey. And I believe that every person has a role. You are made to be an OSIS for a reason, and you should never feel like you're not enough, you're nothing. You always mean something, and I think that everybody needs to know that.
Well, thank you for everyone who I have worked with in the past 2 years. I have been in OSIS, and thank you for all the teachers who have been supporting us and encouraging us, and giving us advices and take tips and tricks, which really is meaningful.
Max?
I would like to say thank you to all those who I worked with. Thank you for the teachers who support us, Miss Lisa, Mr. Evan, and yeah, keep doing your best and please continue OSIS greatly.
As for me, thank you to everyone, the whole OSIS member, the OSIS team that I've worked with the past 3 years. You guys basically shaped me, basically. And also to the teachers, Miss Lisa and Mr. Evan, thank you for guiding us along this way. Because we couldn't do anything without you guys juga kan. And one message I want to give you guys, to the members, is be brave, dare to do new things, dare to do past things also. And yeah, really just be brave to do things. Berani. That's one thing. Berani to take the first step, as that first step will leave a footprint to this whole OSIS community and to the school. All right, and I think that's it. That's it to wrap up the Teaching Quarantine Talk Show. This will be our last episode. Without realizing, it's been 9 episodes, meaning 9 months has passed since we've done this Teaching Quarantine Talk Show. Probably 10 months. I think we skipped one because of like exams and other events. But so to all the viewers, thank you for sticking with us since the very beginning, episode 1. It's been one great journey. We learned lots. We were able to communicate well, better through this talk show. We learned lots also from each one another, being able to communicate well. That's one thing. So everyone, thank you for coming to this talk show, and thank you for watching all the other talk shows of TJ and Quarantine Talk Show. We wish you the best throughout this day and throughout your life. Live a great life. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guests, for coming. And thank you, viewers and everyone.